Breaking news at this hour, the Department of Justice has filed criminal charges against a South L.A. woman saying she staged a fake immigration kidnapping. Uriana Julie Calderon is facing charges of conspiracy and making false statements to federal officers. Last month, the local activist said she was taken from a South L.A. parking lot by so-called bounty hunters and into federal custody. She also claimed she was held at a facility near the border where she was urged to self-deport. Homeland Security called this case a hoax and say they found her on July 5th at a shopping center in Bakersfield. They also say phone records and surveillance video proves her story is not true. She is currently in custody, awaiting her first court appearance.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is a illegal immigrant, or rather, an undocumented California woman faking her arrest, or rather her kidnapping from ICE, and it completely backfiring in every way possible. So we're going to be going over this and how the left also absorbed this up like the idiots that they are, and it just didn't go very well for them. It backfired massively, and now they have to answer for the issues that have been brought upon them. So without further ado, we have this here. So we have this here with the United States Attorney's Office, pretty much saying the Mexican national charge in federal criminal complaint with staging fake immigration kidnapping says an illegal alien from Mexico has been charged in a federal criminal complaint with orchestrating a phony kidnapping, which she blamed on federal agents or people working with federal agents to generate public sympathy and solicit donations. It says Uriana Julia Calderon, 41, of South Angeles, is charged with conspiracy and making false statements to federal officers. Calderon is now in U.S. immigration custody, is expected to make her initial appearance in the coming weeks in the United States District Court in downtown L.A. Dangerous rhetoric that ICE agents are kidnapping illegal immigrants is being recklessly peddled by politicians and echoed in the media to inflame the public and discredit our courageous federal agents, said the United States Attorney Bill Zaley. The conduct alleged in today's complaint shows this hoax kidnapping was a well-orchestrated conspiracy. The defendant and all those involved will face the full consequences of their conduct under federal law. I thank our partners at Homeland Security Investigations and all federal agents facing unprecedented levels of assaults, or for once again providing cool heads and professionalism during these difficult times. Says here, according to the affidavit filed with a complaint filed Wednesday, an attorney representing Calderon's family held a press conference on June 30th to announce that Calderon had reportedly been kidnapped 5 days earlier at a Jack in the Box restaurant parking lot in downtown LA and brought to San Ysidro, where she was represented to a U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement staffer and presented with voluntary self-deportation paperwork. The attorney then said Calderon refused to sign the paperwork and demanded to speak to a judge and a lawyer. In response, she was punished and was sent to a warehouse in an undisclosed location. The press conference garnered media attention and stoked fear in the community. Meanwhile, Calderon's daughter set up a GoFundMe page requesting a $4,500, stating that Calderon was taken by a masked man in an unmarked vehicle when she was on her way to work. On July 3rd, when Calderon was still purportedly missing, federal agents grew concerned after confirming that Calderon was not in immigration custody. Homeland Security Investigation began searching for Calderon over the holiday weekend. On July 5th, HSI agents tracked Calderon down in a shopping plaza marked parking lot in a Bakersfield. Calderon continued to falsely claim she was taken by a masked man and held in custody with others. Video surveillance, including video of Calderon leaving the Jack in the Box parking lot and getting into a nearby sedan, as well as telephone records demonstrate Calderon fabricated the entire story. Calderon and her family knew that law enforcement was searching for her and feared for her safety, but Calderon and her family did not come forward. Instead, Calderon created what law enforcement believed to be fragmented photos of her rescue, made to look as if she was abused while in ICE custody, and planned to hold a different press conference on July 6th to increase donations to the GoFundMe page and obtain other benefits. It goes on to say here, it says here that if convicted of all charges, Calderon will face a statutory maximum sentence of 5 years in federal prison for conspiracy and up to 5 years in federal prison on the false statements charge. So I hope they really throw the book book at her, and then everybody else that is involved in this, mostly just due to the fact that, well, she faked this, and the people that were pushing this up as some type of big thing is now been a false reality here, right? And due to that, we have other things that we'd have to be addressing here, like, for instance, the lives where this guy here who was claiming that that ICE was going into a school and raiding the elementary school during graduation was completely lying. Take a look at this guy.
Having their graduation, and there's helicopters in the sky. Most of these schools are predominantly Hispanic. Gratas, I believe elementary, was having their graduation. And all of a sudden, a bunch of parents have to run out because ISIS is there. Parents had to run out because they don't have papers, and they had to leave their kids because the kids do. What type of is this, yo? And then kids are freaking grabbing teachers and crying on their leg because they don't know if they're about to see their parents when they get home. What the is this? And we voted for this.
Only to be this could be completely false. Libs of TikTok says this individual who made a tearful video which got 7 million views claiming that ICE raided an elementary school in graduation in LA is lying. LAUSD stated that these claims are false, and the district superintendent says no such event happened. So it says here, we are aware of recent rumors circulating on social media regarding immigration enforcement activity at the 5th grade accumulation ceremony at Gratz Learning Academy for Young Scholars on June 6, 2025. These claims are false. Goes on to say here that did ICE raid a school in graduation? And it says, we've investigated. Carvalho said during a news conference, and all the reports that came back was that no such event happened. And, of course, he blocked her as well. So, that's what they did. And, again, we have to go and view these people that are talking about this and what's been raging with this whole situation here.
Is facing federal charges after allegedly faking her own kidnapping, accusing ICE agents to then apparently solicit donations through GoFundMe.
Fox 11's Gina Silva live in Highland Park with more on what we know about 41-year-old here. Gina.
Alex, Christine, it is quite a story. According to federal agents, the woman was in Bakersfield. She was staying there. She was safe, unharmed. Meanwhile, her family was out here in Los Angeles claiming that she had been kidnapped by masked men and taken to the border. Investigators say none of it was true.
Ask for our authorities to not close our eyes to our families. This is not the only family going through this.
On June 30th, the family of Yuriana Julia Pelaez Calderon held a press conference claiming she had been kidnapped, possibly by federal agents. They pointed to her vehicle, saying it was abandoned in the parking lot of a Jack in the Box in South Los Angeles, and evidence of her disappearance.
There's plenty of families going through this nightmare right now where we don't know where our relatives, where our loved ones are at this moment.
It turns out, according to Homeland Security, Calderon wasn't missing at all. Investigators say surveillance video clearly shows Calderon calmly exiting her vehicle at the Jack in the Box and willingly getting into another vehicle before leaving the area. Federal agents found her shopping at a market in Bakersfield. The 41-year-old undocumented woman who lived in South Los Angeles is now facing federal charges, including conspiracy and making false statements to federal officers.
Several individuals could be facing charges in this case. It is, of course, the person who is making these false statements that could lead to criminal charges, but also any family members who were also putting forward this narrative.
Legal analyst Mary David points out that because the family created a GoFundMe account to raise money while claiming Calderon had been kidnapped, that could open the door to potential fraud charges. In addition, the attorney could also be in trouble. According to the federal complaint, he claimed Calderon was taken to a San Isidro detention center, and when she refused to sign deportation paperwork, Calderon was punished and transferred to a warehouse at an undisclosed location.
If the attorney knew that the statements were false, they can face charges as well. But even if they don't face criminal charges, there certainly could also be civil penalties if they didn't do their due diligence, if they violated any code of ethics.
If convicted, Calderon faces up to 10 years in federal prison. She is currently in immigration custody. Now, according to the complaint, one of her daughters was well aware that the kidnapping was allegedly a hoax. She could also face criminal charges.
Yeah, so this is not looking too good for her, right? It seems like it's going to be a pretty bad day for her. And of course, we have some Matt Finn says, elaborate ICE kidnapping hoax. California woman, a MX national, were arrested for alleged brazen scheme of lying about being kidnapped by ICE from an LA Jack-in-the-Box and held in a warehouse. Scheme went as far as police GoFundMe and press conference. All the while, Julie Calderon was free and using an iPhone. Feds say Calderon even had pics ready showing her face with dirt on it, which they think was made to look like she was being held in custody and mistreated. Also a necklace on, but feds say necklace and shoelaces would have been removed if she had been in federal custody. So yeah, it is not going good. This has massively backfired on the left, and you have people on Reddit pretty much saying LA mother taken to border held in warehouse, attorneys at County LA. So again, that's not good. And we have some people coming in here. If this story is accurate, then it would support the theory that much of this hostage taking is being performed by paramilitary units who are aligned with the government. When Trump said that he had no time for due process, this is what he was talking about. It could also suggest that she was targeted for politics in addition to her legal status. And then you have some other stupid people going on and saying here that, does anyone know how these people are being identified? I'm curious of what database they are assessing. And they're saying that, from what I heard, they're using facial recognition tag that pulls from the CBP TSA databases, which means almost anyone who's flown in the recent past or crossed the border had their photo taken, which means the system infrastructure is all there to turn on U.S. citizens too. Been at a protest, denaturalized and deported to South Sudan? I mean, that's an extreme scenario, right? But seemingly more and more likely. Also, why so many of these are illegal immigrants or ones with temporary stay while their cases are being processed? So, yeah. And then, of course, there are other people saying, if this happens, your number one job is to stay uncaptured. This is a survival mission. Escape by any means necessary. So, obviously, people on Reddit is talking about this, and it's a pretty big deal for Reddit. And these people just got egg on their faces, and it was proven wrong. So, this is backfiring massively on the left. It's backfiring massively on the Democrats. And the fact of the matter is that since this is such a huge false story, this is not helping the Democrats, and this is not helping the left. Because this just goes to show that the left will use anything means necessary to push their narrative so they can have a reason to go commit crimes, to set the cities on fire, have another BLM type protest or riot in this instance, because these people want any reason whatsoever to start mischief and start crime. This is what's true here. This is what's going on, and I'm not really shocked by this because, again, as we've seen time and time again, this is an ongoing thing that constantly happens. So, again, another story, another hoax, no surprise here, and this is the state that we're in. People even now faking their own kidnappings to try to get on ICE and Trump, and it failed miserably. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.